Good morning. This is the Great Basin prescribed fire briefing for Friday, May 31st. We still have quite a few projects ongoing in the purple circles all across the geographic area. Not as many as a week or two ago. We're starting to wind down the prescribed fire season. A few small natural fires in the yellow and red circles. Recently, we had one over 100 acres and some of the finer fuels down in southern Nevada, so seasons are changing. Precipitation the past 7 days, not much in the southern half of Nevada or the Arizona Strip, just very light amounts overall in the southern half of the geographic area. Just higher terrain areas of central and northern Utah, as well as some of the central Idaho mountains, had areas a half inch to locally an inch over the past 7 days. Also a bit of wetness in western Wyoming, keeping things on the quiet side there for a while. You can see where our fuels have definitely dried out on the 100-hour side. The area in the dark gold is 6 to 10% 100-hour fuel measurement. So if everything in terms of the grasses are totally cured, that can support large fire. But there's also high sagebrush live fuel moisture. It's going to inhibit things a little bit. But you can see on the 10-hour fuels down in southern Nevada, where we had that 100-plus acre fire just a couple of days ago, we are seeing 100-hour fuels down in the I should say 10-hour fuels down in the 5% range, so that's quite significant. No issues further north. The short-term drought index, the evaporative demand drought index, affectionately known as the EDI, or sometimes known as the flash drought index, looks at drought in a measurement of a couple of weeks as opposed to 6 to 12 months. And you can see that there's been some drying in southern areas, also in parts of western Nevada. So those areas we'll keep an eye on as we go into the next couple of days. Upper level map for later today, we can see kind of a zonal flow, seasonable temperatures, maybe some scattered showers or isolated thunderstorm areas in the green. Trough low pressure approaching the Pacific Northwest. Overall ventilation, dispersion looks pretty good in the white and yellow areas. A little bit of inversion lingering in the red. Daytime humidity, see it down into the mid-single digits down south. That's as dry as it normally gets, and gets more into the low and mid-teens as you go further north, and some 20s further north. I would say seasonable for this time of year. Some localized breezy southwest winds in the south, otherwise light winds today. Transport winds also strongest in the south. Some of these oranges here are approaching mid-20s. That's probably analogous to the highest gusts, but lighter winds elsewhere. Excellent vertical mixing. Not much change tomorrow, kind of a zonal flow. We see some good upper level winds here, 30 to 40 miles per hour. We see that Pacific trough with moisture start moving onshore and affecting parts of Idaho. Excellent ventilation. Humidity still dry down south and gradually creeping up into the upper teens and low 20s further north. See the areas of breezy conditions at the surface. These are surface winds in the green and purples. Actually, green and oranges should indicate about 15 to 25 miles per hour sustained winds in some of those areas. The gusts, these dark oranges, could be 25 to 30 miles per hour. So going to Sunday, you see that trough low pressure become deeper with more moisture, pushing into northern Nevada and parts of, and a good chunk of Idaho. Again, excellent overall dispersion. The winds breezy in the vicinity of that trough. You see the humidity coming up in Idaho, starting to see some upper 20s to mid 30% range. Still very dry in the far south. Gusty winds with that trough, but with higher humidity up in Idaho. Lighter winds down south for a change. Good overall mixing in all areas vertically. 3-day precipitation totals. This will be towards the latter part, the leading edge of that next moisture shield, maybe a couple hundredths to a tenth of an inch initially coming in by the end of the weekend. Otherwise, just spotty stuff in Utah. And that trough of low pressure really intensifies across Idaho and across far northern Nevada and maybe northern Utah as well. Kind of a strong cold front you see here, so much cooler temperatures up north. Excellent dispersion. Lingering moisture up in Idaho starting to fall apart. We're starting to see high pressure build in, and some thunderstorms possibly with warmer conditions as the high builds in on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we see some breezy, dry conditions in southern areas, showers and isolated thunderstorms in the green further north, ridge of high pressure actually east of us. So we will be warming up, but there'll still be some good moisture in the air. We don't see these darker red areas of very dry air mass humidity. So that's what we're kind of looking at. So precipitation days 4 and 5, this is Monday through Wednesday. maybe a couple hundredths to maybe a tenth or quarter inch here in Idaho and western Wyoming. Spotty precipitation lingers towards the end of next week. These are the 7-day totals, so some good moisture overall in the mountains of Idaho. A lot more spotty stuff further south. And the 8 to 14 day outlook shows a big heat wave coming in, probably the hottest weather of the year across the largest portion of our geographic area. This is going to be much of the second week of June, and near normal precipitation for most areas here, which basically normal for June means not much precipitation, but wetter just to our east. This concludes our briefing. We'll be back with more, and we'll probably shift over to a more fire weather format as we get into June. Have a great weekend.